Well, Mark, he finally got it done. Rory McIlroy, the drought is over. To steal your line from when Nick Taylor won the RBC Canadian Open, the drought is over now for Rory McIlroy at major championships. It was one of the craziest Sundays we'll ever see, one of the craziest weeks we'll ever see by a professional golfer. How do you sum it all up?
Again, amazing redemption story. A monkey is off his back. The fact that he had so many demons he had to face. You know, the second worst shot I saw from him all day was the gap wedge from 125 in regulation at the 72nd hole. He has almost the exact same shot in the playoff, immediately having to face the same demon that he just lost the Masters or potentially lost the Masters on just moments ago. I think, this is the rarest club in golf. I said it on the air last night, 1935. Gene Sarazen hit a fairway wood into the 15th green for Albatross at Augusta National. The shot heard round the world. It was on all the papers, all the print publications. That's what they called it. And Gene Sarazen becomes the first player in history 90 years ago, Adam, 90 years ago, to complete a career professional Grand Slam. In 90 years, Rory McIlroy is only the sixth person now to put his name on that list. And I said it last night. Okay, yes, it's one thing to say, Woods, Nicklaus, Player, Hogan, Sarazen, and now McIlroy. But look at the names not on this list. That almost makes it even more impressive. Sam Snead, nope. Byron Nelson, nope. Lee Trevino, nope. Tom Watson, forget about it. Phil Mickelson, ain't going to do it. Nick Faldo, nope. This is another level. And where he will land historically in our minds when this run is done now has just been elevated to a completely other level. If you thought Rory McIlroy was somewhere between the 15th greatest player in history to 20th greatest player in history, Rory McIlroy has now just cemented himself inside the top 10 greatest players of all time, just by being in that elite group of six. And Scully, I know where you're going to go with this. We got Quail Hollow. We got Royal Portrush. We've got a guy playing with house money in excellent shape, still a young man to all modern day standards. This run could look 8, 9, 10 majors by the time we're done, now that the monkey's off the back.
I'm really glad you said that, Mark, because yes, we do know each other very well. We spend a lot of time together, Mark, because that's exactly where I was going next. Because now that the monkey is off his back for Rory McIlroy, he's probably going to be freewheeling now as we head into major championships and at great venues here. Am I crazy to say, Mark, he's already won at Pebble Beach, the Players' Championship, now the Masters? Is the Rory Slam potentially in play in 2025?
Well, sir, we got to be careful that, the last thing we've seen isn't the greatest thing we've ever seen. But if you look at the quality of the golf courses of how they set up for him, Oakmont is an adult-sized ballpark, one of the most difficult golf courses will be at the U.S. Open. So they all set up well for him. Is he going to run the tables and win them all? No, that's not going to happen. It doesn't happen. The Tiger's the only one that's held all four together at the same time, and he didn't do it in a calendar year. So, but I do think he can pick off one more and possibly even two more. And I think it's because, again, what's held Rory back is his mind, his emotions, his anxiety, this elephant in the room. That's what's held. It's nothing physical. At his A+ game, he's the most gifted golfer on the planet. But you saw the demons creep in on 13. You saw demons creep in again at the 72nd hole. There were demons creeping in off the first tee. The demons are gone. So that's kind of a scary proposition when you take, the physically most gifted player out there and then remove any of the handcuffs, remove any of the, the garbage he's been carrying around with him, the heavy lifting. You said something a couple of weeks ago, and I agree with it. We agreed that it was almost in a way, because it's been 10 years, It's almost like a guy who's never won one. It almost feels like Phil Mickelson in '04, where he just could never win one. And then he finally wins one, and Phil goes on a run and wins right up into his 50s. So, Rory McIlroy's got 15 years before he turns 50. And that monkey that just came off his back is the biggest one probably, in modern golf that he's been carrying around. So, 6 wins this year. Are you going over or under right now? 6 wins this year.
I mean, the way he's playing, I'm going to guess there's going to be some sort of letdown. I'm sure the party at the Masters at Augusta National was long into the night on Sunday. So maybe Rory will need some time to decompress and figure out what is next for him. But
hold on.
5.5, 6, yeah.
I was going to say over under 5.5. Let's make it that. Over under 5.5.
I'll take the over. I like 6.
Because I think he lands on 6, because I've also picked them last year. I wasn't as brave as you and Bob picking him to win the Masters. I said in our year in review last year that, probably has a great chance at the Players, and he will win another FedEx Cup next year, is what I said.
Right.
And I still believe he's going to win a FedEx Cup this year. So if I think 6 is probably the number.
Well, it's a remarkable performance by Rory McIlroy. He is the Masters champion.